Hey, what's going on, y'all? Hope everyone's having a fabulous day. If you haven't gotten a chance to subscribe to this channel, please do so. I hear people talking about investments. What's the better investment? Stocks, real estate. Then you hear people talking about, oh, I can give you, you got to invest in multifamily apartment buildings. You hear Dave Ramsey talking about, well, you can get a 12% return on investment if you invest in good mutual funds. I'm going to give you guys an investment tip that's going to give you a guaranteed 20% return. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for an investment that's going to give us a really good return. And what is that investment? Paying off your credit cards. I'm running into a lot of people at a very dangerous time carrying a lot of balances on their credit cards right now. I want you guys to understand that we're going into a very interesting dynamic where I believe that we're going to go in a recession within the next 2 years. Our interest rates are so low that it has me worried of how we're going to manage or out of this recession. And carrying debt into the recession is what scares me, because whenever there's a recession or a depression, people have a tendency to lose jobs. And if you're going to lose your job and you're carrying a lot of debt, it's going to look similar to 2008, right? Because you had a lot of people having mortgages, purchasing homes and upgrading homes and refinancing their homes, and they would lose their jobs and they weren't able to sustain those mortgages. And that wasn't the only reason. I know there was other factors. It was a part of it. And I just want you guys to know that the best investment that you could possibly make is paying down your credit cards. That the investment, wondering should you invest in a 401k, SEP IRA, solo 401k, Roth IRA, like what vehicle should you invest in? That conversation shouldn't even be had unless you are completely debt free. If you're carrying debt, meaning you have interest that is above 10% on anything. If you have a personal loan and you have a personal loan and it's 13%, your best investment that you could possibly make is paying off that debt, right? And I don't think that people understand that when you're carrying these interest rates, it's not like you're going to get a asset that's going to pay you higher than what you're paying out in loans, right? The interest rates in loans is usually a lot higher than what you're going to get in an investment vehicle. And just remember, your debt is an asset to someone else. Their asset, meaning your debt, is always going to be higher than anything that you can seek in the stock market, in real estate, what have you. It's just a matter of philosophy, right? Because you're going to have some people out here that are going to say, no, I'm using my debt as good debt. Well, if that's the case, then great. But the reality of it is, most people don't have good debt. They don't. We're not even there yet. I'm trying to get you guys to understand, and there's baby steps that we're trying to get to, but we're doing this together. Credit card debt is not good debt. So if you, I don't care if you purchase an asset with your credit cards, you have to knock that credit card down, right? You have to knock that asset, needs to be able to knock that debt down in a year, right? And if you're getting the purchasing assets and not able to knock the debt down, then you're just on a lose-lose game. And at some point, capital's going to run out, is what I'm trying to say to you guys. My generation probably was the generation that started changing the way we look at money. The older generations before mine went to work to provide for their family. They went to work, and the core belief system was family. They sat around the dinner table and talked about their day, and family was a huge part of their ecosystem. Like, family was it. My generation, it became about how much money am I going to make, right? Because my generation, we did is we went to work for things. Because if I made more money, that was going to allow me to purchase a bigger house. If I make more money, that's going to allow me to furnish that house a lot better. If I make more money, that's going to allow me to purchase that foreign vehicle. And so what my generation did was we changed the whole philosophy of money by the sense of we valued money more than we valued family. My generation, Generation X, we went to work for money. We didn't care what the job entailed. We would shovel crap if you paid us enough. It really wasn't about family. Oh, we're going to give you this job where you're never going to be home. We didn't care. How much money are you going to pay me? That was the driving factor for my generation. And something interesting is happening with millennials. I'm not talking about the FIRE movement that they're on, the financial independence, retire early movement that they're on. I'm talking about the minimalist mentality that they have with living. And they're asking one important question when they go to work: do I want to be around these people for the rest of my life? That's a really important question. Their way of thinking has changed. Like, you have the generations before mine, which was about family, right? Community. Then you got my generation that was about things like gotta have the latest sneaker, gotta have the Gucci handbag. And now you have a generation where they're saying, am I gonna be happy? And it's selfish. And you had, I believe his name is Mark Gecko, greed is good. um Selfishness is good. If you're not happy, you're not going to be in a space or an environment where other people are going to want to be around you, and you're not going to be fulfilled. You're not going to want to be productive to society, right? Because there's a thing with depression where when people become depressed, one of the things that they want to do is just lay down. They don't want to be really productive. I just want to crawl in my bed and just do nothing. And that's one of the signs of depression. And if you are happy and you're joyful and you're aspiring to be productive, that's a sign of being happy, that you're okay with everything. And I think that the way that the millennials are looking at becoming minimalists is the proper way of looking at things. And I'll even apply it to my life, right? So I grew up in Fairfield, California, right? Shout out to Fairfield. When I grew up, I was in the corporate world. I worked in jobs where it was white collar jobs. Never really did manual labor. Don't know anything about manual labor. There's this thing: don't give Kenny any tools, right? Because I will tear some stuff apart. I love tearing stuff apart. It just never goes back the way that it was meant to. For some reason, I'm always having parts left over, and so that's who I was. I just wasn't a very handy man. I was the type of dude, if I need something fixed, I'll pay somebody to do it. As I go through life, I'm bumping around, and I'm working with my brother. He has an automotive shop that he owns, and 2008 is coming around, right? And what happens is the economy is just falling apart, and there's nobody happy. Everybody's pulling their hair out. Those of you that don't remember 2008, it was a really terrible time, and especially in California, Bay Area, man, we got hit hard. So what happened was there was this truck driver every day that pulled up to the automotive parts that was right next to the shop. And every day, man, this dude was smiling and always happy. I would go over talk to him every morning, right? Because I would go into the shop real early. I had to ask him, man, why are you so happy? And he would tell me, man, I love my job. And I'm like, wait, you love your job? And he's like, yeah. Now I want you guys to understand at this point in time, I'm in California, white collar, you know, even though I'm working at an automotive shop, I'm running the automotive shop. I'm not working in the automotive shop. And so I'm looking at him and my nose is snubbed up like you're a truck driver. Why are you happy with your job? Like that's I thought you were gonna tell me you just had a baby or something. Your job? And he's like, man, I love my job. And I'm telling you, I was a snob. And as the wheels were falling off the economy, this conversation that I had with this gentleman just kept ringing in my head. He's happy being a truck driver. And so what happened was I made a couple of phone calls to trucking companies that train people on how to become a truck driver. And I reached out to this company called CR England. Some of you truck drivers know. Yes, that's where I started my truck driving career, CR England. I called them up and they said, we'll send you a bus ticket to Los Angeles and we'll train you how to be a truck driver. And I'm just like, for all this education, all this business experience that I have, I'm going to be a truck driver. And my nose was snubbed up. And one day I couldn't take it anymore. The wheels were falling off the economy so bad that I was going into a depression myself. And I seen it and I felt it, and I didn't want to get up and see anybody anymore. It was just a really dark time for me. And I took them up on their offer. I go down to Los Angeles, California, and I became a truck driver. Gave up everything. I gave up everything. Now, when I became a truck driver, I want you guys to understand I had nothing, right? Let's be clear. I had nothing. That was the happiest time of my life. Well, one of the happiest times of my life. When I became a truck driver, I would go cross states. Like if you guys see what I'm seeing right now, I'm coming into Arizona looking at the mountains. Beautiful. Sun's hitting off the mountains. I was really, really happy being a truck driver. I was really like, there would be every time, like, I didn't, I grew up in California my entire life. I never went out of the state. I never went to the South, didn't know anything about the South, didn't know anything about the East Coast. I was a California kid. When my family would say, "Hey, we're going to Louisiana," I would be like, "I'm not going. I'm staying in California," because I was a California kid. I was a city boy, you know. And so when I became a truck driver and I started seeing this beautiful country, I started seeing I went up to Seattle, Washington, and seeing how Seattle looked like it was built on the water or something. It was just got all these bridges on the water. Like it was really exciting. You go to Oregon and you see how the trees seem like they're built into cities. Like these people are living in the forest. And then you drive over to Minnesota and you start seeing people in the winter ice fishing. Like, oh, I thought that was done in Europe. I didn't know we did that in the United States of America. And you have all these different things, and then you go over to the Appalachian Mountains and you see all the like fall in on the East Coast is absolutely beautiful. And you start seeing all these different things about this beautiful country. And you start, you go to all the different monuments and all the national parks, and you're crossing states and you're clapping every time you go to a different state. I was like, it was an adventure that It's hard to put in words, but I had nothing. I had nothing. I mean, I was getting paid, but I had nothing. And I absolutely loved life. Absolutely loved it. And the point of the story is, a lot of times we are using our credit cards to try and find happiness. The reason why you have these high balances on your credit cards is because you're trying to finance a lifestyle that is not needed, right? I got to go buy this Gucci handbag. I got to go get these Prada shoes. I got to go get these Ferragamo shoes, Hermes belt, you know, Tom Ford shirts. Like all these things that we got to get, not really necessary. Oh, I got to drive the foreign car. Got to put rims on my car. And that's my generation in essence that I'm talking to. That a lot of times what you're doing is you're trying to finance a lifestyle that you believe is going to bring you happiness. And I'm trying to let you know that the millennials have it right with this minimalist movement. They have it right. I don't believe that you're ever going to be able to finance your way to happiness. And if you think that you going out purchasing something on your credit card is going to bring you some type of joy that you needed, I think that we're going about it in the wrong way, right? Financing our lifestyle is leading us down a path of depression that we're not only going to be able to taste. We're not going to be able to taste that depression until it's too late. Meaning you don't really know it until it's too late, right? One day you're going to wake up and you're like, "Man, I don't know what to do. I got all this debt hanging over my head." I've been there, done that. Debt is a destruction of personal finance. Debt is a destruction to your happiness. So I want you guys to understand that sometimes you have to rethink and really ask yourself why, and be a little bit selfish. Stop living for others. Stop thinking that because you buy this particular item, it's going to give you more attention, and therefore the person that you are is going to have more substance because people view you differently. Stop having these high balance credit cards. I understand what's going on. I understand why you're doing it, you know, and you have to stop thinking that these financial decisions that you're making is going to lead you to happiness, because it's not. In no way, shape, or form is you financing going to lead you to happiness. And so I just wanted to reach out to you guys. I just wanted to touch bases with you guys and get you guys thinking about another way of living. Right? Let's start, you know, knocking down this debt and trying to find ways to live a little bit more simple. Right? I don't want to say become a minimalist, where I was watching a video of a gentleman that's multimillionaire and he sold everything and now all he has is a bed and a desk. I'm not saying you have to live like that, but your car's 3, 4 years old. Do you really need a new car? Do you really need a new car? Like, the technology that we have in cars now will allow cars to last a very, very long time if you take care of it properly, right? If you take care of your car, it can last a long time. And I know people every 3, 4 years, they have to get the latest car, whatever it is, and it has to be foreign. And I know people that they have an addiction to shopping. They have to have a new outfit every time they go out. Every holiday. We're going into Christmas. And This is a holiday that thrives on people putting themselves in financial ruin. Whether you have it or not, you purchasing more toys is not going to bring your kids happiness. And I know you have to go out and get the latest greatest game for your child, or whatever, the new Xbox or the new Sony PlayStation. I apologize. I don't know all the video games. I don't even play video games, so I don't really know what's out right now. But you got Sony. I remember we would have a Sony PlayStation 2. The 3 would come out, and we got to go get the 3. Why? Oh, it's got a new graphics card. Like, this is a rabbit hole of expenditures that we're going down. The iPhone movement, right? Oh, I got an iPhone 7, but the iPhone came out with a 8. Oh, what's different between the 7 and the 8? Oh, they made a thumbprint on the 8. Or, like, it would be some small thing. And I wonder, are we really understanding what we're doing? Do you really need that iPhone? Do you really need that Android phone? That the new, oh, well, this phone, oh, I want you to understand, this phone records video in 4K. Okay? You need that? Yeah, I need that. You need to record in 4K. How many TVs even show 4K? Right? And why does a phone, like, for your Instagram? For your Facebook? Like, I don't really understand the movement that we're trying to get into. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get everyone to start thinking about personal finance in a different light. Pay down your debt, focus on your debt, and at that point, you can start thinking about what it is that you want to do. I'm not going to make this a long video, and I say that at every end of every video, I think, and all of them are long. But you guys have a blessed day. I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.